am looking out for is that early level 2 lead, especially
Yep.
from that
Fast
Angela.
two.
You really need that fast 2. Get Angela up to that power spike, and then you can rotate together. Go for those easy pickoffs, especially since you have slowly on Martis.
Very interesting to see that. Actually, I was expecting, yes, Stellark to do a fast 2 as well, since Kirby playing as the Kufra do have the concussive blast, but for some reason Sicilian is actually in middle as well, so they're not doing the fast 2. So I don't see I don't see much of a reason for Kirby to actually pick up the concussive blast. Probably would have one to go for a little bit more utility over that if Chesty wants to stay in lane to constantly clear wave over and over again.
Yeah, I think the breakdown from Sicilian is that in the early game, you don't really have a lot of rotations, but Liechtenstein really keeping Hauski at bay right here. Even with the Irithel Bruno kind of matchup, it's pretty evenly matched because of the range game. But Stellark, they are being a little bit more passive. Looks like Vanguard picking up the Wilderness Blessing, picking up extra movement speed. They want to go for early game invades, early game skirmishes.
Stellark, they literally have not much of an answer for an invasive species coming in from the side of Slowly. This Martis is definitely going to be having a lot of fun. And in fact, even for the side of the Romans, Nick Stain, once he gets to level 4, Minoan's Fury is not going to be that afraid of the heavy spin as well. And let's not forget, now the heavy spin is used, the turtle is coming out in 5 seconds.
Actually looks like Vanguard, they're gonna should be getting a relatively easier turtle here, considering now they don't have the archive spin. You know, Nick, he's trying to get to that level 4, and maybe it'll help them out a little bit. You know, maybe kind of like secure that turtle. But right now, we have a bit of a turtle dance. Stellark dancing around a little bit. Chu doesn't have the level 4, so he will not have that ultimate, but maybe he will in a couple of seconds.
Black Dragon form?
There we go. Kirby immediately jumping right on top of the side of Nick Stain, but it doesn't seem like Slowly is going to be putting himself into the fight. He's going to be focusing onto the turtle first, and successfully doing so. In the meantime, Blade goes down, but Slowly focuses onto the neutral objective. Very respectable. And Slowly, maybe, hopefully, once he gets the lead, then he'll go on a dunking season.
Oh, they're trying to reset the blue, but it's taking so long to do this. Oh no, he brought it back in.
I don't think that they will be able to drag this out any longer. But hey, look, they did manage to. Akai actually did manage to steal the purple buff away from the hands of Vanguard. Or rather, take it back. You know, rightfully theirs.
I mean, it is what it is. They just have to make do for now. Trying to like stem the bleeding, especially after the first turtle. They are significantly behind for 3 minutes and about actually more than 1.5k. It's only going to keep on like growing as that happens. Oh, he misses the knock.
I don't think that that's going to be that big of a deal though, because Stellark should still be able to bring Nick Stain down. Okay, never mind. Yep, that means that Tyrant's range was actually super important to actually land. Unfortunate, but hey, it's not the end of the world.
Hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Like, Vanguard is doing everything right in this game. They're taking full control of the early game, and they really need to find really easy pickoffs, especially so right now. Slowly already 2 levels ahead of Blade, and Blade always forced to use the heavy spin very, very defensively, which is what Stellark doesn't want, especially since you have to contest for a lot of these objectives with this heavy spin.
Nothing special coming out from the items really for now. But hey, first item has on the Irithel. I think a lot more emphasis on trying to sustain in lane against the Bruno specifically.
Well, that's, I think, pretty typical of like Irithel builds or Bruno builds right now, because you want to get that early damage. You don't really need your boots because you're not rotating well enough. 4 seconds until a turtle spawns up. It does look like Vanguard starting the zone.
Yeah, but one thing to take note of is the fact that Liechtenstein has got the Heart's Claws. He also has boots as well, but we'll hold that thought for a little bit as Chu finds himself under attack and forced to work with the Last Insanity. With no more Firaga armor left, he will not be able to peel much for his team.
Oh, they caught out Nick Stain.
I don't think that Liechtenstein is going to go down that easily. After all, Chud is available at any time. Literally, he do have like map-wide coverage. He's going to be there anytime you need him. But hey, Kirby, that's going to be a great Tyrant's Revenge. But unfortunately, that's going to be putting him in the chopping block first. As Liechtenstein finds himself the first kill, make that a second. And very potentially the third one if they manages to lock Blade down. But with the heavy spin, he gets himself out of the way.
That was so well placed by Vanguard. Just a very, very reactionary matter right here. But the Decimate takes Chesty out of the game for a little while.
what is happening? Like you had the tier 1 like position. You had the right intentions to try for a flank, maybe try and pressure somebody, but for some reason I'm not sure why. Stellark were playing very, very cautious there. No, without knowing like what was going to happen, and I think they're just overthinking it at this point.
Oh. Wouldn't you say that it's because they don't particularly have an answer to the front lines of Slowly? Because it's just kind of a run it down hero. If we focus on Slowly, then Liechtenstein is just going to bite us in the bud, and vice versa.
There's the goal. There's the objective.
I don't know. It just feels like TVH, like they're not really playing too aggressive as they could be playing. And I think like Blade in particular right now, he's not having the best of games. And he is one of their primary win conditions to at least making sure that they're able to stall the game out until the Sicilian comes online, right? But we're not seeing any of that. You don't stall the game by playing more passive unless like the whole team is committed to it, like actually giving up the turtle and then just going straight for tower pushes and stuff like that. But at the moment it's like half the team wants to do something, the other half they're just not on the same page overall.
I guess overall they just don't really have a subset of win condition, I guess, or rather mid game. They don't have a mid game to actually pass the time to really let Chesty farm up, or perhaps even let Howski farm up. Because right now it's more about managing the waves here and there. But unfortunately, once they have all of the first tier defense turret taken down, it's pretty fair to say that Vanguard will be able to steamroll this part of the game, because there's just so much free real estate for Vanguard to just roam around and gain information that Stellark just can't do much.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the way they're moving, even like at the bottom trio. They are so afraid. You basically, like, the Arkai is basically another position 5.
Yes.
Like, why do you have your jungler and your roam in the same bush, looking out over one green camp with the Irithel, they can be cutting the waves together, knowing that the rest of the enemy team would probably be at the turtle side. And they had the info from the waves pushing in over at the top and mid as well. So you could have made these assumptions from there, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just the nerves getting to them.
Yeah, Stellark
Nick!
completely no much of an answer.
Big
The rest of the
initiation.
members from the side of Stellark just going to be diving over to the back line. Super Ryan is unstoppable as he goes on to the back. The Shower Rescue stacks up and brings Arkai down. Then there's 4 members from the side of Stellark taken down, and Howski took that opportunity to push all the way down to the bottom lane, at least managing to get the first tier defense turret in the bottom.
It was a very, very smart fight from Vanguard. Minio and Fury just pushing up Stellark, and he found 4 members. Stellark trying their best to split push, but Vanguard just skirmishing, taking everything that they can from everywhere. Stellark has nothing to do but just pick up the scraps. But Vanguard, though, I have to say, slowly built the BOD. He is going for a full damage Mortis. Now,
I like that.
Only if Stellark is able to go into late game, then slowly will fall off really, really hard later on. But Vanguard does look like they are leaving no stones unturned, and they're going hard, riding on that momentum.
Well, at least I do appreciate the adaptability coming from the side of Slowly, right? They know that they are in the lead. They can even push the lead even more with more damagey item, right? So BOD, when it comes down to the early stages of the game, is an exceptional pick whenever you have got yourself a massive lead. Because they're not building up much on physical defense. There's not much point in picking out the Malefic Roar, especially after the change, whereby early game Malefic Roar just not as effective anymore. So might as well just pour your investments into a BOD and just go for Dunk City, which is something that I would love to see in a short little bit.
I mean, to be blunt, Abstract, at this point, Vanguard can go for any item and they'll still do okay just because they are playing better overall as a team. And it's almost at a 10k gold gap, so that's very reflective of what the current state of the game is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we talk about the mid trio, like, you've got the Sicilian, the Arkai, and the Kufra, all 3
of
of
them
them.
no damage.
Yeah, and even on top of it, you just look at it from a teamwork perspective. The impact is just not there. The moves are not being made. The pressure on the map is basically non-existent. And Vanguard, it's a bit early to say that they have the game in the bag, but it's really their game to lose at this point.
Well, I guess what would be the saving grace, I guess, is at least Chesty has some form of high ground, and they can clear waves pretty effectively as well. But now the main problem lies with the Lord. Do they have enough damage to deal with the Lord plus another 5 members from the side of Vanguard? I guess that is going to be the main problem. Those split pushes and those kind of those 3-way attacks coming in from all lanes, I think that they can deal with that. But the 5-man plus Lord, might be a little bit more difficult. As we can see, Nick Stain immediately just flickers right in on the final hit of the Minoan's Fury. But unfortunately, he's going to be taken down throughout all of that. Stellark is still holding down pretty well, as only Blade and Kirby has been taken down. Is left with Jude as well as Luxian Stain. The front lines of Vanguard got demolished quickly, but at least Vanguard, they understood that, hey,
Lux, don't get caught,
get
what
a
are you
little bit
doing?
more stuff. A little bit greediness coming in from Vanguard, but they managed to shy, just kind of walk away from all of that.
All right, Abstract, you have the loudest voice here. I need you to shout what was like the win condition for for Vanguard later. Luxian, don't get caught.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Now?
Yeah, shout it. Go, go, go.
Luxian Stain, don't get caught!
Exactly, man. You can see the poor Angela, like Chud is probably like shouting to his teammates like, bro, a bit close, don't nah.
Too close for comfort.
I think a lot of ML players can relate to that when your MM is like overextending, staying
Yeah.
a bit too long.
Like,
That was
bro,
exactly
you are
what's
not
going
the
on.
tank.
Exactly.
Well, for Vanguard,
Talking
though,
about you, Ryan.
yeah, for
Then-
Vanguard though, like Luxian Stain, even though he gets caught, he is healed up by like 2 support heroes. So the beauty in this draft is like Luxian Stain can just free roam, he can free hit from the back, and no one can touch him because he's got the Haas Claws, he's got an Angela on his back, he's got the Minotaur as well. So it's gonna be a little bit harder to take him down. You really need to stun lock him. And Stellark is throwing all their eggs into one basket. Kufra needs to jump in, needs to make a right play, and Blade really needs to follow up with a nice heavy spin.
And as we speak right now, the Black Dragon form comes in along with an Angela tagging along for a free ride. Vanguard is just going to be focusing down on the Blade, but unfortunately not a lot of damage is actually going to be chunking down on the side of Stellark. Chu has already used the last Insanity. He still have got Immortality though, as he survives with just a sliver of health.
Hey, silver lining, Stellark has a lot of high ground capabilities they can defend, especially from this next Lord that is coming up. Does not look like Stellark wants to bite the bait and go into the jungle, let Vanguard have a good time trying to find a flank onto their back line. Stellark will hunker down in their base, they'll wait for Vanguard's approach, and that is the only way that Stellark would be able to win this team fight.
The Lord currently lower than 50% HP. Unfortunately, Kirby did not manage to land the Tyrant's Revenge. The rest of Stellark, they're just going to be stuck in this small little choke point. Vanguard, they're not exactly taking this opportunity just yet. They're still going to be resetting the Lord and waiting for yet another opportunity to launch an attack.
Yeah, this is just the respect for Chesty on Sicilian, just because it's really 12 minutes and a half in. You know, you're going to be looking at it. He's starting to deal like significant amounts of damage. We saw that from the last siege, and this is something where whether you like it or not, you have to like kind of just watch positioning a little bit. Kirby and the Kufra still struggling to find an initiation or counter initiation for that part. And there we go. Looks like Super Ryan with the Angela combo. Thinking about it, they want to go back in.
As much as zoning is possible, they wasn't able to just zone everyone from the side of Stellark away, but at least they did manage to get themselves the Lord, as now Nick Stain trying to go for the Minoan's Fury, but unfortunately wasn't able to do quite much at this point in time, as now he's going to be the first one to be taken down, slowly, immediately weaked himself right out of the battle, as Vanguard already knew that they came here for what they wanted, and that is the Lord.
I could have sworn that Stellark, they had an opportunity to keep pressing forward, but the moment they saw that the Angela Yuzong combo was coming in, basically just cut that formation into half, and the backline was very, very far separated from the front line, which left them completely vulnerable to the entirety of Vanguard. And now we're going to see this Lord as Vanguard try to close this game 1 out.
Is it even possible for them to bring this inhibitor turret down?
Apparently they can.
It's a little bit difficult for them to bring it down, unfortunately.
Wizard crashing in soon.
I mean,
They didn't
Kirby's
jump.
the king of it. Remember back on Revival, these guys were always the king of comebacks. Usually,
that's true.
like the
Yeah.
game is not over till the throne is down.
Yes. It's not over until it is over.
Especially, you know, especially when one inhib is down, you can feel like the team starts to level up. Maybe this is the thing for Stellark. You need to let the last inhib go down so that they fully power up, you know, like Bankai.
So the first one is Shikai, Vankai, and then what's the last one?
I actually don't know. Any anime people out there about to help us out, thank you very much.
Maybe something completely different right now. But Kirby is going to be charging off the Tyrant's Revenge, but didn't release it just yet.
Well, I think Stellark, this is where they shine, right? Like Stellark just buying a lot of time. They have a very, very critical defense. They can't wait for the next Lord to come back up. The longer they wait, the stronger Chesty becomes. And they can just ride on Chesty's success, Chesty's damage in order to get a one-to-one kill. Vanguard lacks range. So a lot of their heroes, they need to get in your face, in Stellark's face, in order to deal that damage that they so desperately need in order to take them down. But Stellark is able to defend. They have that high ground. They can push them back if Vanguard makes a mistake.
I mean, have they made mistakes so far though? Not really, if you think about it. I mean, yeah, they took
Yeah.
like the fights in very, very awkward situations, but at that point, they were just confident because they're so far ahead, right?
Yeah. The thing is, Super Ryan always uses his ultimate, gets into the back line, but doesn't want to commit onto Howski or Chesty, even though he is directly on top of them. He does have the Petrify still, so he's just holding that down. They want to try to post Stellark down because they want to go for a team fight that they know that they can win. They know that they can cycle them through.
Now, my main question is that Vanguard, they used to have a 10,000 gold lead and then a 9,000 gold lead. Now we're stuck at 7,000 gold lead. Hades, do you think that Vanguard is just not playing based on their advantages? Or do you think that they are just, oh, what?
No,
It's a waste of flicker right there.
Okay, but
Just
back
trying
to the
for it.
question, right?
No, but I genuinely think that they have to respect the Sicilian because the
They gotta
stacks are
respect
the stacks are coming up, and the last thing when you're going for these like very, very deep dives behind the tier 3 towers in the enemy base, the Sicilian will just catch you out of position. Next thing you know, you've lost like maybe like a third of your HP, and the
Right.
rest of the team just follows up. Don't forget that they still have the Archive as well, which can keep you inside the base. It's not as easy to go out.
Right. So definitely, there's quite a lot of heroes that we're gonna have to respect
Oh.
in the end of the day. But Tyrant's Revenge, Tyrant's Rage, connecting down to Super Ryan and will be helped on by Chud. And now the Black Dragon form is also gonna be executed. The Super Ryan is pretty much back to full
Howski.
health. But look at that! Great Tyrant's Revenge, but he do not have a rage to follow up. As such, look at Slowly. He's just gonna be running himself all the way back to behind. He wants to focus down on Chesty, but Blade comes in right in the nick of time with a heavy spin to ensure that the Decimate would not connect.
It's a 3v3 situation. Vanguard, they're still going for it. They can cycle them. The waves are pushing in. Luxenstein focuses on the throw.
Oh, look at the damage. You gotta have to respect the bat tag. Oh!
And this is why you respect the Sicilian. And like we said, respect, this is all according to Kirby's plan. This is the revival, like textbook play that's like, it's okay guys, 2 hit down, we just level up ×2.
Hey man, it's like an arcade. $1, 3 tries, right? Vanguard can go at it again. They still have the upper hand in terms of economy. They can still draw Stellark out again. That was a very, very good catch, though, by Nick Stain onto Howski. Without the Wind of Nature, without Howski online, it is very easy for Vanguard to contest for this Lord.
Yes, and
especially
now
since slowly making his way over to the Lord still.
Oh, this is not gonna be good, as it doesn't seem like Slowly
Oh,
is gonna be
coming
close
in.
enough. But now the Lord, 100 feet. Oh, Blade
Big.
still takes the Lord away from the hands of Vanguard. None of the members from Vanguard were ready for the fight anyways.
Yes, but now you start to see the difference. This is what I was talking about, that earlier on, for like the first 12 minutes of the game, Stellark were not playing the game. But now you can start to see, like, as the Sicilian is more confident, he's probably making more calls, which is what Chesty is supposed to be doing in the first place. You can start to see a significant difference in the way that they're moving around the map. There is actually like a direction. You know what they're playing for. They know what their win conditions are. This is because this is their timing now.
Yep.
And but Luxian, like, don't get caught. I mean, how can you not get caught? You walk in, Chesty just aims a spell to the backline, ignoring the front line, and next thing you know, bam, you've lost like 70% of your HP.
That's kind of like I guess the main thing about what a Sicilian is capable of. The Sanguine Claws, yes, is locked down to a certain range, but heck, that range is huge and large. So you're gonna have to really watch out for that. And like you said, respect the Sicilian, and you gotta have to. Because Stellark now, they are turning the battlefield around with the Lord trampling down on the bottom lane. Okay, maybe not trampling, but it's kind of like swishing around with, since it is made of water after all. But Super Ryan is just gonna be immediately committing down onto the Black Dragon form to clear out the waves as well as the Lord as soon as possible.
This is the first lead that Stellark has in the entirety of this game, and this is pretty much what they play for. They play for that late game, and this is where they shine. Stellark just slowly chunking down health after health. They have nothing to do but just hold
Nick
on.
Stain,
Massive
four-man
knockup.
knockup coming in from the Minoan's Fury, but the follow-up coming from the side of Vanguard unfortunately have not been enough to bring any one of the members from the side of Stellark down. They did, however, bring the Faraga armor of Choose down, but nothing else after that.
Vanguard, no way to move an inch as of now. They have to stay back, they have to defend, especially slowly since he built up an offensive build instead of a defensive one.
I mean, that team fight, if anything, even though there weren't like that many casualties per se, or none for that matter, you can see that, Stellark, they are starting to feel the confidence. They know that this is their fight to take, and they can basically start to assert that kind of pressure, which previously Vanguard were doing to them. And, Vanguard right now, they have to be very, very selective about how they take these engagements and like now. Ryan's not able to just go for these like random dragons anymore and start diving the backline like he used to. Because I think previously they were trying really hard to kill Chesty, but his positioning was like so far back, it was just almost impossible for the team to like basically follow up. And now we have ourselves a dead even game, or actually for that matter, Stellark now have the advantage by like almost close to 1,000 gold, as both teams now prime themselves for what could potentially be the game deciding Lord.
I don't think that Vanguard is necessarily out of the game just yet. I think that this is also still going to be a game for them, provided if Stellark makes a mistake. Don't doubt it. Slowly still has massive amount of damage in his arsenal. Luxenstein and Super Ryan as well. While Chud has got all the utilities that they need, while Nick Stain has got all the durability that he needs. In fact, he have eaten 3 ultimates in that small amount of time, and he even have the immortality. And this is actually a perfect fight for the side of Vanguard, because they can just jump right in over to the back lines, because Super Ryan just going to be soaking in, and he's going to be peeling in for all 5 members from the side of Stellark. Luxenstein joins him from behind, just going to be throwing all the soccer balls right in the face of Garby, brings him down, immortality's down, while slowly just going to be pushing down to the bottom lane as much as possible to keep Irithel in the base, allowing Vanguard to reign controls of the Elemental Lord pit.
I think that was the first time where they successfully caught the Sicilian in a way that they actually wanted. So this Lord will go the way of Vanguard. However, it looks like Stellark may have different plans in mind. Will Blade be able to come in and do some GTA stealing a lot of stuff?
He doesn't have his ulti.
He doesn't have the Red Tree as well. There's just no way.
Man. They'll just give. Stellark needs to give.
That is probably the mistake that we were looking out from the side of Stellark, when they throw everything that they have onto the side of Nick Stain, only for the immortality to pop, and he still had utility even after the immortality is up.
Very unfortunate things. I think as well, like the mistake here was that, yes, the idea was like half right, but they didn't have the full picture, which is, you know, with Chesty without the flicker, it was still on cooldown for like about another 8 seconds. There was just no way that was going to work out without taking some serious losses.
As the heavy spin is just going to be used right now, Luxenstein actually melts him down almost immediately. The rest of the members from the side of Vanguard, they're pushing over to the back lines, while some of them, the Bruno, focuses onto the core, and Vanguard takes game number 1.
Nail-biting